Well, we've been rocking around the clock since 55. So let the good time roll one more time tonight. And when my hair starts turning gray, you're still gonna hear me say, you're never too old to rock and roll. I saw her dancing on my TV, American Bandstand. There was a whole lot of shaking going on all across the land. And said the fad would never last. After a long, long time ago, you're never too old to rock and roll. Well, play me that rock and roll. It still thrills my soul. You're never too old. You're never too old to rock and roll.
Hello, everybody. How are you all doing tonight? I hope you're doing well. Those of you that are asking me about this cold, I've had a cold for like a couple weeks and it just keeps lingering. So if you see me coughing, blowing my nose, I think I'm on like the tail end of it. But I said I'm not delaying it today. I feel okay. So anyway, I don't know if Jim is joining me or not tonight. If he does, I will let you guys. I'll let him come on when he comes on. So I am going to say hello to a few people here. So, hi, Judy. Yes, I'm glad to be back after 2 weeks. I think I took 2 weeks off. I did have a little bit of a cold, but I also, the live stream also ran along with the World Series and a bunch of other things. So I decided to take two Saturdays off and come back on this week. So anyway, hi Nan, how are you tonight? Hi Sandy. Hi Double W Mitchell Matthews. I'm doing a little bit better. Hi Jermaine, how are you? Yeah, I'm feeling a little better. I still have a little bit of a runny, stuffy nose, but I'm doing much better. It didn't hit me as bad as my other cold I had last year, but it was still annoying. I was coughing a lot. So if I still cough a little bit, bear with me. I do have a drink here. I do have a cough drop. So anyway, so I'm going to finish chapter 3 and just Mitch. Oh, okay. Hi, Mitchell. All right, no problem. All right. So I'm going to finish chapter 3 tonight and maybe cover a little of chapter 4. But chapter 4 is going into the different books that she has read. And she does cover the truth about Elvis Aaron Presley in his own words in a little while in this book. So at that time, we will spend a little time recapping that book as well to go along with this book. All right. So I've done this book before on Facebook only. So this is the first time I've done it on the YouTube and Facebook. So you're getting it both. So I think I ended with somewhere on this page. So I'm just going to pick up with the next paragraph. It says, I was excited to hear the U.S. Postal Service was issuing an Elvis stamp in January of 1993. I thought they would someday be embarrassed that they had issued a stamp for someone before they died, and then the stamp would have more value. They, of course, didn't have a clue that he was alive. It sure must have come up in conversation when they began to consider it. I wonder if they had contacted Lisa Marie to tell her what their plans were. She was almost 25 years of age and would surely have discussed it with Priscilla. Perhaps they simply didn't know how to keep the stamp from being issued. Now, I'm going to stop here for a minute and I'm going to say something about the stamp. I know that the person that has a stamp issued, they are dead. We've got to remember that even though his body is alive and the man is alive, this image is dead. So Elvis is dead and he doesn't go by Elvis as far as like what he did, he used alias names. So anyway, but yeah, so the stamp did come out, and I think I might have a couple of them from an aunt that passed away. She had some in her box. I'm sure some of you have the stamp as well, and I'm not sure nowadays how much they're worth. But anyway, she's talking about the stamp. So they probably never thought of the penalty for allowing it to happen. By that time, and they might have figured they would never find out by the masses. And I haven't a clue what kind of penalty would be assessed, but it would be interesting. I don't see that anyone was hurt by issuing it, even though it should not have been done. And this reminds me of the saying, there is the first time for everything. In any case, the stupid part of me bought 65 sheets plus several first day issues. I sent my family and friends a first day issue stamp. I wonder if any were saved. I still have mine. I spent way more on than I should have because I spent every last dollar I had. However, if I could have, I would have purchased more. The stamp is large, so there is only 40 in a sheet. And since Elvis hasn't made an entrance, I suppose my stamps are only worth what I paid for them. The cost to send the first class letter was 39 cents at the time. Now that was 1993. One summer afternoon, sometime in 1996 to 1998, I was sitting in the Diamond Mall beside a kiosk a friend of mine owned. He was in the Beanie Baby secondary market, and I had made arrangements to meet him at a certain time. I noticed a group of 5 men entering the mall, and they stood out like a sore thumb. I immediately had a gut feeling. They were dressed in dark suits. It is unusual for men to wear dark suits in Anchorage, except when going to church, funerals, or weddings. And even then, many men don't wear them. I watched them walk on into the mall, and when they got within a few steps of me, they came to a screeching halt. I heard one of them say something, but didn't hear what was said. The minute they stopped, they swarmed around one of them, as if to protect. The one who was directly in front of me had his back to me. He quickly turned and looked directly at me. Our eyes locked. He looked at me with a questioning look. I'm not sure why, but I felt a bit uncomfortable and nervous. He turned completely around and continued to stare at me. I said, "Hi, what are you doing?" He replied, "We're going to do some auditions." I told him that sounds interesting. In the meantime, the others walked on slowly. I asked him where they were going to do them. He said, "I'm not sure, but someplace in the mall." I smiled and said, "I wish I could listen to them, but I don't have time." He smiled and turned and saying, "I'd better catch up." I didn't see his face, but I was sure Elvis John was the person they were hovered around. I thought about following them, but I was hurt. It was obvious he didn't want me to see him. I imagine he was as amazed as I was. The odds of that happening again were, once again, 1 in zillions. I was surprised that he recognized me, and I was surprised that he reacted the way he did because I'm sure he placed an ad in the personals. Perhaps he changed his mind in that length of time. What surprised me the most was that he was out among us during daylight hours. He must have felt pretty secure that he wouldn't be recognized. Sometimes I wish I would have found the auditions after I met with my friend. I did have time. I just said that I didn't, so he would tell Elvis he didn't have to worry. If they hadn't stopped so quickly, and the one guy hadn't turned to look at me, I wouldn't have played it wouldn't have played out the way that it did. I wasn't concentrating on faces, and with them walking together, they could easily pass by and turn into the mall. It did show me Elvis John was still being cautious of what was happening around him. Gads, it's a shame he has to always be looking over his shoulder, so to speak. The fact they were in suits, doing auditions, and uncomfortable with seeing me did add up to more than speculation that it was Elvis. Now, she didn't really see the guy's face, I guess. Kind of a confusing way she's describing this, but I'm not sure if the gentleman she was talking to was who she thought was or was one of the security guys. I'm not quite sure. If you guys are hearing this and you kind of get an idea, maybe you can clear that up. But from what I understand, it was kind of odd. But anyway, I so wish I was more assertive. But once again, I didn't want to put him in a uncomfortable situation, and I was hurt because he must have felt he couldn't trust me. I was amazed and excited that he was in Anchorage. I asked myself, has he been here all these years? Anchorage could be one of the places he lived, but I was surprised that we were in the same place at the same time. Once again, I imagine he was too. So on May 22nd, 2007, I returned to the lower 48. It was a bit difficult to leave the beautiful state of Alaska after 21 years, but Alabama was also a beautiful state. So she moved from Alaska to Alabama. All right. So I will just start chapter 4, and then I'm going to stop when she mentions his book, and we will pick this up next week when I can breathe a little easier and talk a little easier or something. But anyway, sometime in 2003, my daughter Jamie Lynn asked me to write my bio. She suggested it would be a nice gift for my grandchildren. It sounded like a bigger project than I could accomplish. However, with her encouragement, the year later, I bought a computer and began writing what I remembered before I forgot. It amazes me that I have remembered so much. It is quite lengthy because I have covered 76 years. After I got settled in my new shelter, I continued writing. When I got to chapter 35, I had mixed emotions about including this memory. I didn't want to create a problem for Elvis John, but I didn't think it was right to leave it out because of the title. I prayed about it lots before my decision was made to include it, but I still hesitated. Even though he told me I could share my experience, I felt like would be betraying him. And I wish that I knew if he was still living. So my granddaughter Brittany informed me I could do a Google search on just about anything simply by typing a word or two into a search space. After having my computer for years, I had not used the internet other than for emails and my writing. When I typed in Elvis Presley, I was astonished at all the information that appeared. I sat here shaking my head and thinking, who knew? I hoped to locate the book Elvis said he had started. And Larry Geller's book, If I Can Dream, caught my attention because it said Elvis's own story. I thought it just might be the book Elvis meant, so I ordered it. I could hardly wait for it to arrive. In the meantime, I couldn't find interesting articles about him. I continued to find interesting articles about him. In my search, somehow, I found the EIN, which is the Elvis Information Network. I couldn't believe my eyes. I discovered a page where Elvis fans talked to each other. In fact, more than that, I soon learned they actually argued with each other. Some of them used very bad language, and many were hateful to each other. And the arguments were about, is Elvis alive? I continued to read, but did not voice my opinion because I didn't want to involve myself in such ridiculous and ignorant conversation. I think it is so very sad that anyone treats another person as they do. And I am confident that Elvis would not want to be the subject of this kind of conversation. Even though I didn't like what was happening on EIN, I continued to sign in and see what was being said, hoping the conversation would change to something that was fun to read. But it continued to be hateful, mean-spirited, and depressing. Okay. So, she's going to start talking about his book. This book here that she bought and read, and her chats and discussions with Linda Hood Sigmund and her website, the beginnings of her website in this next chapter. So I'm going to stop here and I will pick it up next week and that spot. Okay. All right. Hi, Barbara. How are you tonight? Hi, Mary. I hope you're feeling better. Hi, good to yes, thank you. Good to be back on. Still pretty stuffy, but yeah, I'm back on. So, hi, Vinny. Good to see you, Joy. I hope yeah, I'm feeling a little better. I'm still pretty stuffy and I'm coughing a lot, but it is what it is, I guess. So, I sometimes get one of these fall throat chest colds. I think it's the change in temperatures. Could be the leaves. It could be pollination in the fall with the leaves and stuff. Mostly the change of the heat. The heat comes on. So it could be a mix. And I always get another one probably in the spring or around February or something. I always get another cold. So, hey, it is what it is. But I'm back on. Jim, I don't know where Jim is tonight. He hasn't been feeling very well. Please keep him in your prayers. I know he's dealing with heart failure and different ailments. And again, he didn't even realize I was chatting with him. He didn't even realize the mishap he did like 2 weeks ago during the video. And on YouTube, they making me wait almost 12 to 24 hours before I can edit a video if it's live. So it took me a while to edit it. Hi, Pamela. How are you tonight? Anyway. So I think it was quite interesting when she says she's at the mall sitting there and there's a group of guys that show up in front of her and um and she really thought it was Elvis. Yeah, I talked to him like 4 or 5 days ago and he was doing pretty good. He looked pretty good. He looked better than he did 2 weeks ago when he was on video. Um but yeah, he's dealing with some I think a stage 3 heart failure. So yeah, keep him in your prayers sometimes, and I think he also works a lot too. So I know that he said he's probably planning to go on, but I think it depends on how he feels. So I didn't hear from him today. I did send him an invite, but he didn't come on. No, my heart problems are not good, but I will pray for him. Yes, please. Keep him in your prayers. Excuse me. Can you just imagine? I think I would be frozen. So, yeah, I'm surprised she even said hello and just asked him where he was going, what he was doing there. Said something about readings having was it um auditions of some type. So I'm not quite sure if it was movies or movie auditions or whatever it was. I know he's been behind. I know, you know, Jesse Elvis has admitted to Jim, a couple other people, that he worked behind the scenes in movies, and of course we know that in the movie Elvis Found Alive, where he said something about writing the script of um, Finding Graceland and then giving it to Priscilla and producing it. So, and he even had a part in the ending of sitting there in the stagecoach. Of course, he's all in, you know, altered bass and everything. So, hi everyone. I hope you're all good. I'll be in and out of here, and I'm getting some dinner together, running late this evening. No problem, Rita. Take your time. You can always watch the repeat. I'm praying for him. God bless him and his wife too. Yeah. As he definitely needs a lot of prayer right now. Jim has reacted to some of my Facebook posts the past couple of weeks. I was glad to hear from him. Yeah, I mean he is out down and about, but he also, I know he works as well, delivering stuff. He could be eating dinner at this time of night. You know, he's an hour behind me in time, so yeah, it could be a mix of different things. Sometimes he sleeps, sometimes he's sick. He's not doing well. Hi Faye, how are you? Knows he smokes a lot, and I know there's a nasty habit to kick. That's the one thing he needs to let go of for his benefit. Yeah, I know he's a chain smoker. I think he just continually smokes. Might be hard for him to quit. I'm not quite sure if he even maybe does some pot too. Like I said, I'm not sure on that, but a lot of time they use it for medicines and pain relief or whatever. So I don't know. Hi, Francis. Okay, so I'm all right. I have a little bit of a head cold that just won't leave me. I'm not quite sure if it's a mixture of a head cold and allergies. Could be a mix. At this time of year, with the heat comes on, and then the leaves are falling and the trees pollinate. I change in temperatures. I always get sick. So I have like a sinus sufferer. Okay, and any updates on Jesse Elvis? Last time I knew, he's doing okay. That's all I know. Linda hasn't heard from him in a while, but I guess our go-between told him he's doing okay, and I think Jim said he's heard from his contact that's, I guess, in contact with Jesse Elvis as well. And anyway. Hey, you can't teach an old dog new tricks? Is that what you're trying to tell me? I don't know. Anyway, many people with cancer use MJ. Yeah, to help with pain. Yeah, it is a pain reliever. A lot of people use it for many medicinal habits, and some people chew it. I heard you could chew it. You can put it in brownies and stuff. Not me. I'm not into that, but anyway. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. It's hard to quit smoking. I've done it years and it was not easy. You're right. And especially if you're a chain smoker, because he's one right after another. You know. So I'm sorry you've been sick, but I hope you're on the road to recovery. Yes, I think I've ordered I think a supplement for like some extra supplements to help boost my immunity. So hopefully that'll help. If you can get by the smell of it, yeah, I don't. The smell of marijuana is nasty. I think there's some people that actually like vape it. I've heard that you can chew it now. Eat it. But there's even a pill form of it now. They have it in pill form. I'm going to say, yeah, that he does probably do it. I don't think he's ever done pot on video, but I've heard he's done it before for pain relief. Thank you, Joy. Yeah, sinus issues always bad this time of year. I get sinus infections a couple of times a year. Yeah, I think this is more like a sinus infection, maybe ear infection, and it's in the throat, like in the lungs. Yes, that's gross. We are going to miss him. I hope he comes back soon. Yes. Well, like I said, I did give him I gave him an invite, and he probably doesn't feel well. So usually he doesn't come on, or he decides not to come on. Maybe he could be a little embarrassed too from last 2 weeks ago. But I don't think that's the case, though. I think he just doesn't feel well. Who knows? I could probably call him later or check with him tomorrow and see how he's doing. Yeah, exactly. But I heard people use, they put it in like food and stuff. I guess I don't know. Oops. My husband tried the gummies for his arthritic pain, and he acted very much like a different man in a very different way, and never used them. Yeah, probably. Like I said, I don't never been into taking that stuff. Even if I'm in severe pain, I won't even take any addictive stuff. I always take ibuprofen or Tylenol. That's it. Or heating pads or ice or something. That's it. People don't use it because it's addictive. Using for pain is an excuse. Well, I don't know. I think they probably used it for something, but it's disgusting and immoral. I don't know. I don't think my dad's ever used it, but he had a lot of pain pills. He took a lot of pain pills for his pain. Yeah, I don't like the smell either. And then people like act like so like a little, I don't know. Hey, dude. I actually have a funny story about that one day. That was funny. But that's another day. Yeah. The smell is repugnant. Yeah. I think I went to a party one time when I was younger and someone smoked it, and I was like, "What the heck?" I didn't like the smell. I'm like, "Okay, I'm going home now." I didn't like the smell. Between the cigarette smell and the marijuana smell, I was like, "Okay, I'm done." It was too gross. Yeah. Gummies or edibles are better than smoking. Smoking anything itself isn't good for your lungs. Yeah, exactly. Oop. Yes, I lost my second son. I started smoking, and it's hard to stop, and I need to. Yeah. I mean, smoking marijuana or smoking cigarettes. I mean, you could always try like those patches maybe for cigarettes. But anyway, the act high joy totally spaced out. Yeah. Well, my son works at McDonald's, and it was an overnight shift. He was telling me the story, and he had a guy. He called him a stoner, but he had this guy on register, and the customer pulls up to the car, up to the window, and he ordered his breakfast there instead of at the speaker. And they're like, hey, dude, do you have, what did he say? Um, he asked if the scrambled eggs were scrambled eggs were real eggs or something like that. So it's like, do you have eggs in your scrambled eggs? Hey, dude. And it was funny because my son just couldn't stop laughing. He's like, we do we have eggs in our scrambled eggs? Hey, dude. And then I guess after the guy was done, the guy on the register was done his shift. He's out there, like in the car with the other customer smoking pot or whatever. Hey, dude. How you doing, dude? Anyway, hi, Kayla. How are you today? It's good to see you guys. I hope we never become legal in Florida for recreational use. Yeah, and it's only medical use here in New Hampshire. I think in Massachusetts is for regular. I think Maine might have it passed too. I'm not quite sure, but New Hampshire still doesn't have it legal for recreational use. Cigarettes, yeah, I can't smoke pot, and I'm stupid enough. But oh no. Try the patch. I mean, if you have a lot of willpower, you could try using cold turkey, but you can always try the patch. It might help. I'm not sure. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Every state's different, so excuse me. Oh, it does? That's cool. I know, I heard it's helpful in pain relief and some other things for terminally ill or people that are really, really have a lot of pain. All right. So now that we're off topic, I don't know how. Anyway, poor cancer patients. Yeah. Well, like I said, Sandy, I think they do have it like an edible form, and I heard they have it now in like a prescription as well. I heard some people have done hypnosis to stop smoking cigarettes. Hey, that's a good idea. Hey, Mitchell, you could try hypnosis. It's legal in Montana? Okay, cool. I know it's legal in certain states, not in other states. I know here in New Hampshire, it's only medical use. I don't think they've done the recreational one. And I know they have, I know that they do vaping too. I know some people who vape it. Yeah, Sandy, sorry to hear that. Yeah. Well, like I said, a lot of states are legalizing it. So, and here in South Carolina, it's not legal, but it will be soon. Okay. Or soon will be. I know we have it only medical use. I know Massachusetts has recreational and medical. I'm not sure about other states in New England up here. Children don't need to see or smell it. Yeah. Or even eat it. Some people put it in brownies and stuff. Do you even believe, Sandy, how many kids, like even teenagers, are using it in school and stuff? I mean, when I worked at McDonald's, there was like a bunch of kids that were not even like 18 and they were smoking marijuana. Yeah. So maybe, hopefully, we can. Sorry, we're off topic tonight. I don't know how we got started on it, but anyway, I think it was talking about Jim smoking. I think that's what happened. Anyway, um, all right. Anyway, I'm going to finish with the rest of the song. You're never too old to rock and roll. And you guys have a great night. And I'll see you next week at 8 o'clock here on YouTube and on Facebook. And we're gonna start the next chapter at chapter 4. And we will be reviewing probably this book on Linda Hood Sigmund's site as well. And so, yeah, I know I am a mental health therapist. That's why I know. Yeah. Well, I'm glad. Yeah, it's a horrible addiction. Wow. You too. Yes, thank you. Like I said, I'm not quite sure if it's an allergy or a cold, but I don't know. It, it's annoying. So, night, Mary. I hope you're feeling better.
Well, last night, Mom and Dad went down to the rock and roll show. It was a revival, so her mama took the Bible and said, let's go.
Thank you.
She kept dancing all the way home. Tore all my dad's clothes, so you're never too old to rock and roll. Well, believe that rock and roll, oh, it still thrills my soul. You're never too old to rock and roll. Yeah, when my hair starts turning gray, still gonna hear me say, oh, you're never too old to rock and roll. I said you're never too old to rock and roll. I said you're never too old. Yeah, to rock and roll. Yeah.
And that song just reminds me so much of Elvis's voice. Anyway, you guys have a great night. If you haven't subscribed and you're watching this video and you like it, subscribe to the channel and watch my other shows. And you guys have a great night. See you later. Bye. Okay. What year was that made? That song was from the New Beginnings album by Orion, 1989, I believe. Okay. Bye.